It didn't take much more than a bottle and 2 chairs to make a speakeasy. This is what Daniel Okrent said in his book, Last Call, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition. Today, join us for some stories. Get your own bottle, glass, or mug, and relax. This is Speak Easily, and I'm your host, Krista Stauffer. Hi, welcome to Speak Easily. I'm Krista Stauffer, and today with me is Jesse Hubbard and Nate Howe. Hi.
Hey.
This is new.
This is super fun. Thanks for having us.
This is our first time here.
Yeah, it's so fancy.
It is fancy.
You know, I have coffee that I had to provide myself, but thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Otherwise, this is really nice.
We usually begin our podcast, if you've listened before, we usually begin with just kind of like a cold open. So we've actually been chatting some stuff that's not going to end up on camera for a while here. But
past roommates, disastrous roommates.
Disastrous past situations.
We don't have to name names because if they happen to listen, they know who they are. They're like, oh, I lived with them. They're probably talking about me.
I mean, but to be fair, we cannot claim that we're the best roommates ever. You know I can't.
Yeah, we all have our... But there's a difference, I think, between having some tendencies that may be a little annoying versus just being, like I said, a disastrous roommate. So
I think
I'll name names. Adam Neal.
Adam.
I know you're gonna listen. He's my oldest friend. We lived together twice, and I'm sure we would both have complaints about each other. But he's still my best friend.
Yeah.
You know, like all these years later. So it's super funny how, you know, like once upon a time we were just at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And now, just like, I remember when we used to live together and you did this and drove me nuts and I did that, and you know what I mean? And I was like, the big thing that he always did was he was dating this girl, and he would bring her home, like just to hang out or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd get off work and all I want to do is sit in the living room and watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always in there watching her shows. And it was like the most annoying shows. And it was like,
what?
I don't even remember. This was like
Will and Grace.
Whatever was big like 15 years ago, like Teen Mom or True Life. Whatever, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
Like the TLC or...
That's like MTV stuff or whatever. We laugh about it, now we've talked about it, you know? He's like,
Is he still with her?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No, they're married. No.
She still watches the shows.
I don't even remember her name. I don't even know if he remembers her name.
Well, the one, and I'm sure Megan's going to hear this, Megan had a cat that hated everybody. It was like the meanest cat. Just would hiss and scratch and bite, and the cat loved me. I don't know why, because I couldn't touch the cat because I'm allergic, but it would be like, I'd be sitting on the couch, nobody would be home, and the cat would come up from the basement and just sit right next to me, and the cat and I would just look at each other like...
It's probably because
Because I wouldn't pay any attention to it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. You want what you can't have.
I also vomited a lot. Is that normal?
It did, or you did?
Normal. That's normal. No, I did not. I held in my...
Okay, I thought you meant from the allergies, maybe.
No, I just stopped breathing. That's fun.
That's worse.
Mm-hmm. They do puke normally. Like, why?
I don't know. They're just
balls and stuff. This is going down a weird path.
They're terrible animals.
I just don't like them.
How it is, yeah.
I mean, if something's going to make me stop breathing, I'm sorry. I don't really enjoy it.
I stopped allowing roommates to have cats.
Yeah.
I was just like, no. My first roommate, first time I moved out on my own, and I'm like, all right, I'm a grown-up, and I bought my first new piece of furniture. I bought a couch, and I was so happy and was pleased with myself. I'm like, I'm a grown-up now.
Yeah.
I bought a couch. Roommate brings home a damn cat. Within a week, that brand new couch was just torn to shreds, and he's just like, sorry. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
No.
I felt that way when I bought an ottoman and a plant once.
Did the plant destroy the ottoman?
No, I mean, I was referring to feeling very grown up, like, oh, I have an ottoman. And I was like,
yeah.
Ottomans are weird.
They are.
I'm not sure I've ever bought an ottoman.
Yeah, they're nice if it's the right height.
It's got to be this,
This one was not. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't really an adult. I just felt like it. I mean, if you feel like you're an adult from buying a plant and an ottoman, clearly you are not a grown-up.
Give me your largest ottoman.
I am adulting today. I don't know what kind of plant it was. This was a while ago. So I don't remember.
Oh. So it's not still with you?
I demanded
The
an ottoman
plant,
and
no.
a ficus.
Yeah, a child wouldn't ask for that.
They might get a fern. Anyway.
Why are we here?
Why are we here?
I honestly don't know why we're here.
Why
You
are
just
we
told
here?
me to come here.
It's just we just want to hang out and talk about old roommates.
I was like, hey, come hang out.
Ficus. Is that plural? What's plural of ficus? Ficus.
I think it's
Ficus.
ficus.
Ficus?
No, I don't know.
It's like,
Trichisius.
Ficisius, yes.
I feel like we're
It
gonna
could be.
cuss here.
You said it confidently enough where I was going to believe that.
Yeah.
Ficus?
That's poker face, man.
Ficisius.
Yeah.
Is that your poker face? Is that? So anyway, you guys have started something new.
We have.
You have.
Yes, we have.
It's called the St. Russell Productions.
St. Russell Productions, yeah. Want to talk about it a little bit? Start off?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so
That was a nice transition.
yeah. Basically, me and Jesse, we met at a cocktail competition, which
Okay.
is, kind of how I've met a lot of people in this industry.
Yeah.
We kind of there's the people who do those, and we hit it off right away, and like we've just kind of been looking for reasons to work together since. It's never like lined up that we've worked at the same bar, so it's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's maybe plan a pop-up, a competition, do something like that, and we started doing all this, coming up with these great ideas, but we decided we needed to focus in and actually, make them happen. And, St. Russell came together as just like an avenue to produce and put on all these
Yeah.
events and have some kind of professionalism behind them instead of just, hey, let's just
We're just
do
doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing a thing.
'Cause
Yeah.
Let's make it official.
Right.
There was an element of that where you would do some stuff on the side, and I would do some stuff on the side, and it would just be like, oh, Nate is doing this, like,
Yeah.
consulting, or
Yeah.
building this bar menu, or Jesse's doing this cocktail class, or whatever. And it seems it's much more official, and I'm excited to be working with them on this. And I think, we've been, like you said, doing these competitions for a while, and we're
Yeah.
hosting our first competition. I don't know when this is going to be airing,
Right,
but it's
right.
this Sunday. And we're super excited about it.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. We're teaming up with Echo and Rye River Social, Echo Spirits at
Where's
Grandview.
Rye River?
Also in Grandview.
Also, Grandview's.
Yeah,
It's
Grandview's
the
happening.
old bar 145 space, like way like in the back of this like a shopping like center
Okay.
on Fifth Lake. If you don't know where it is, yeah, it's hard to describe.
Okay, now I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
I mean, it's all like right.
Everything's
It's like right there.
centralized,
Yeah. So,
Brothers Drake just moved out there too.
oh, they did.
They're on Third. Yep.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, you have High Bank on Third, and there's a lot going on out there. So, yeah, it's.
You can just walk place to place.
Yeah.
I'm excited to say that the event actually sold out. Now we sold less
Nice.
tickets than what we would have liked to due to like.
Yeah.
We want it to be very safe.
Right.
We're taking everybody's temperatures when they're coming in. We're on all these events that we do.
Right.
And but I'm still excited that it sold out. And
Yeah.
And it sold out before we announced almost
Yeah.
entirely before we announced the finalists. We only had like a handful of tickets left when the finalists came out, so it was people who just wanted to come out and do this before they even knew who they're going to be watching. So that was really
amazing.
encouraging.
yeah.
What's your sorry, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's super cool.
Yeah. What is your background? I know too much about this
my
one.
background is all over the place. Back when I was coming out of school, I actually got into the culinary scene. I did a lot of cooking.
Okay.
So my background was mostly culinary, and then I moved into marketing.
Okay.
When I was living in Boston, I became a contractor doing event marketing, promotions, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then I moved out to Ohio, and that market kind of disappeared. So I was like, well, where can I do marketing and food at the same time? So I opened up a food truck.
Oh,
And
cool.
I did the food truck thing for a few years and had some fun with it. And, cocktailing and, the bar industry has always been something of a hobby of mine. Like, I've been into that for a really long time. I've had friends in the industry forever. And so I started bartending full-time because it was just like the easiest thing for me to just kind of transition into. I've always enjoyed it. I was like, I got to make this, it kept my now ex-wife very happy to have me get rid of the food truck because it was way too much a time commitment for her.
Yeah.
We ended up selling the truck, and I started bartending full time, and
Where
it
did
just
you?
kind of took off from there.
What bar were you mainly at?
I was part of the team that opened up Grandview Theater.
Okay.
I worked with Four Spring Brewing a lot. I worked for them as a bartender up until they closed.
Okay.
I opened up the Hooly Hooly in Powell. I was the general manager up there,
Oh,
and
wow.
I did their cocktail program to get
Yeah.
them started. And now I'm at Rye River Social doing
Wow.
the cocktail program there. So.
You're all over.
Yeah, I've been
Picked a
bouncing
good
around.
business partner, right?
Yeah.
So he can handle the food, he can handle the drink, and I can just run around and be loud.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds
It's
about
perfect.
right.
It kind of it works out well.
It's
yeah.
perfect.
It's fitting. Is that on your business card?
People listening be like,
Yeah.
that's accurate.
That sounds about right. Yeah. So you guys just the cocktail competitions. It's amazing to me, like you said, how quickly they sell out. It's just the people are so interested in seeing what other people can do. Is that what's the main draw?
Well, there's such an appreciation in Columbus specifically for the craft of bartending, and it's really neat to see.
It's an art.
I would agree. It is, yeah, and it's a really impressive skill when people can take these raw ingredients and turn it into something that is so delicious that people are willing to pay money for it.
Right.
I mean, that's really cool, and some of these competitions there's like a little bit of a theatrical experience to it, and we're certainly going to have that for ours. Everybody, we have an entrance music. We've got kind of like a boxing theme. We're facing them off in brackets. It's going to be super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it brings people together. Like you said, we met through a competition, and hit it off pretty quickly. And I don't know. I mean, what do you think? When you say, I mean, it's
honestly,
it's just the camaraderie of it.
The camaraderie of it, I think, is what draws, especially the competitors to it.
Yeah.
I wish it was, didn't have anything to do with people being sick of sitting at home and wanting to do something. I think giving them an event, they're in a hurry to come out. But no, I mean, I've always found that, especially these kind of like cocktail fights kind of thing where it's like you're doing like a live presentation. It's just a lot of fun. People just come out and it's just a goofy good time. It's more about having fun than anything. I mean, I don't want anybody to, leave this, even if you come in dead last. It's like, I hope you had a good time, because like that's what it's all about. I really feel like a lot of the competitors are competing against themselves more than anything. It's like there's no real animosity between bartenders that I've found, and we just want to have a good time and get together and do something.
It's like healthy competition. Even
Yeah.
a lot of the bartenders that do these competitions tend to know each other either prior or they meet each other through the competitions, as we said, and it's a healthy competition. So I know, if I can't win, then I'm in one with some buddies of mine. Like I hope one of them can win. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And win or lose, you always walk out of this. Anytime you compete in one of these, you always walk out of it a better bartender because of the preparation that you have to put in, and also any feedback that you can get from the judges. And also watch the other contestants.
Right.
Sure. What are they doing? I picked up some cool stuff over the years.
So, do they have to come in prepared, like they have their own recipe today? Or do they have to, like, you get these 12 ingredients and you have to...
Our competition is a little different.
Okay.
Basically, they submitted an original recipe online.
Okay.
And that we judged to determine the 8 finalists.
Okay.
So that one, they had all the time that they needed to come up with it and make it any way they wanted.
Yeah.
And now that they're in the finals, basically we're going to give them a spirit, a secret ingredient, and then they have a rack of ingredients, and they have to put something together on the fly. Like, so
in 5
this
minutes.
is this is going to really test their knowledge of product and basically their knowledge of classic cocktails, because they're going to have to fall back on those and like be like, what can I twist and make it.
You think about it, you're at full bar, on a weekend, somebody comes up, is like, surprise me with something. Yeah. We all have gotten that request.
Right. I think I do that to you most of the time.
Yeah, you always do, yes. I'm like, here's a beer.
And the sign of
water.
And that's the sign of a good bartender, someone who can like just talk to their client and be like, it's like, well, what do you want? What do you like to drink?
Right.
Oh, you want a gin cocktail? Do you want that to be dry? Do you want it to be booze forward? Do you want it to be citrusy?
Yeah.
And they can just do that.
And with the 8 finalists, every single one of them is a very talented bartender, and they're fully capable of doing this.
Okay.
And we're really excited to see what everybody comes up with, and it's going to be bracket style, like in March Madness.
Okay.
So you make it past the first round, so like 8 down to 4 down to 2, and then the champion.
Is it the audience or the judges that are determining who?
So Nate was talking about their initial cocktail that they made.
Yeah.
They had time to really prep.
Right.
We're going to have those there for all of the audience members to try and to vote for the fan favorite.
Okay.
For the ones that they're making on the spot, it's going to be the judges. So like Nate, myself, Derek Reno, the bar manager over at Echo Spirits, and Blair Beavers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aw, we like him.
Yeah, he's part of the podcast community.
Yes, he is.
And the bourbon and cocktail community. And
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. Yeah.
They take the best pictures. They have the best downtown view. I love all of the pictures that they take.
They do. They really do.
Yeah.
They had my wife and myself over not this past summer because it didn't happen the year before for Red, White, and Boom, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've experienced it before, but never. I mean, like, you guys can charge you could charge a ticket price for this.
For sure.
You know, it's amazing.
I mean, not this summer, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
This was a fun summer for fireworks.
Yeah, I know. Couple like sparklers and call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just set them off.
My neighborhood was not quiet for the better part of a month.
Yeah, it didn't. I think it just created more illegal fireworks being set off. You guys are right.
People are like, screw this year.
Poor dogs.
Mine aren't bothered by that.
Yeah, luckily mine doesn't.
Mine were. And people were randomly setting them off last month too. In September. Like, you know,
kids are back at school.
Right.
Sort of.
Well, yeah.
Not really. Once in a while.
Some schools.
Yeah, not for long.
Yeah,
anyway, you said, back to what you were saying, you said secret ingredient. Like,
we can't tell you what it is.
no, I don't want to, but.
Basically, it's like we're going to give you one of
it's a
Echo's
secret.
spirits, and then we're going to give you, basically just one ingredient that they have to incorporate into their cocktail. It's not going to be anything too off the wall, but it's like basically it's like take this spirit and this ingredient, and then put together a cocktail.
Okay.
And
something that you wouldn't necessarily think of off the top of your head, but we don't want to. And this is something we talked about when we were coming up with this concept.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be something that's so weird it's not going to make a good cocktail, because we want these to be really good cocktails. So we're not throwing somebody like, you know, like crumpled up leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
You know what I
like
mean?
No.
Lysol or
Dirt.
Yeah, no. Basically, because we also, 5 minutes is not a lot of time, and we don't want anybody to just freeze up and not finish. It's like this is about having fun. We don't want anybody stressing. It's just like just put together something fun. So we made them all approachable. Anything that a good bartender wouldn't have any trouble with.
Some of like, I guess you would say, like ingredients that would be on the outskirts of what you would commonly think of in a cocktail.
Yeah,
definitely are going to make for really fun.
Give me an idea, not what it is, but something, because my cocktail knowledge is rather limited.
Yeah, just think of unique flavors.
Okay.
Right. So think about the flavors. Like this is something that I wouldn't necessarily think of for a cocktail, but I like it in food. I like the flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much.
That's fine. Just tell us what it is. I'm just kidding.
So here's the list.
We can tell you later.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we already know. The first the first round pairings and what they're getting. So it's like we
set them all up.
We set them all up.
Okay.
So it's
we wanted to keep it consistent, so everybody had, even though they're different ingredients, but everybody has a fair shot.
Yeah.
But everybody gets the same.
When you're going head to head with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
gotcha. Okay.
And then a different one, because we want to make it fun.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be like, you're all getting.
Yeah, and if everybody
raw
got
onion,
the same one,
the
the fourth round people would be at a much better, advantage than
absolutely.
the first round. So
we're excited about it.
Each individual head to head has their own ingredients. So.
And this is going to be, we really want this to be an annual thing that we do. And I hope next year, who knows, but things are back to somewhat of normalcy, where we can have more people than the 50.
Yeah, for sure.
In there.
How does one become a bartender? I mean, it's got to be something that you got to study up on these things.
Honestly, learn. The best way to do it, honestly, is get a job as a bar back somewhere and pay attention. Bar backing is one of the best and worst jobs you can have. You have to work twice as hard and hustle twice as fast. But if you pay attention, you can learn a lot. Not just about how to, make drinks, but watching bartenders, perform their craft.
Yeah.
Learning how to, multitask, learning how to...
And bug the bartenders. Why do you do that? What's that? What's going on? Okay, now what are you doing?
At the right times, yeah.
Yeah. No, just...
Not on a Friday night, but on a Wednesday, absolutely. And
how to lose your job quickly.
It's just be around. I mean, honestly, I know...
Just go get ice.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine who has really come a long way in the last 2 years, and he had a regular 9-to-5 job up until he was in his late 40s, but he was always a cocktail enthusiast. So he read all the books.
Yeah.
He learned about all the product. He made a lot of cocktails at home, and he would just go to bars and he would just watch and learn and talk and interact. He never went into a bar and didn't interact with a bartender. He never just sat there, ordered his drink. And he hit the ground running, and it was literally within 6 months of his first bartending job, he was a beverage director, at a distillery.
Yeah.
And it's just and everybody's like, well, you didn't earn it, but no, you did, because he put in years and years and years of effort and research just because it wasn't his full-time gig.
Right.
You got to remember too, to be a good bartender, this it's always evolving. Everything that we do, tastes change, trends change, and you can never know everything. Right. So it's like, unless you're willing to continually be learning and paying attention, you're gonna kind of get left behind, and that's the most important thing. Is just remembering that
the continued education.
There's always more to learn.
Huge.
Well, and there's different trends in a way, right?
Oh yeah,
Always.
for sure.
Like, what's big right now?
Yeah, and you have to kind of ask yourself if you want to follow some of those trends sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see stuff and you're like, that's a little bit too much of a fad.
What is right now?
I don't know about currently right now because everything's upside down.
Oh yeah.
But before, like one that we were talking about recently, in recent years, activated charcoal in a cocktail. It turns black. That was interesting. I guess people are still really, really into smoke cocktails, which I think are fun, but some people are starting to kind of get, like you're saying, jump the shark a little bit. It just depends. There's certain fads like that. And then it all kind of comes full circle to where for a while there you were doing, everybody and their brother was doing 7, 8 ingredients in a cocktail, because if it was complicated, then it had to be good.
No.
And then, right? And then
I've tasted several that aren't.
It's kind of come back around, I think, to the thinking of simplicity.
Yeah.
A lot of, and I know I enjoy that as well. I like getting weird with it and having a bunch of it, but it's just not realistic for every cocktail to be that way. And sometimes it's fun to just see 3 ingredients in a cocktail, and it's still so complex with the flavors, and it's so balanced, and it's just a perfect example of what a cocktail was, once upon a time, and that is essence. Is. So there's, the trends come and go, and they're fun, and I've certainly jumped on some of these bandwagons, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to make a good cocktail with a few ingredients, or you have to make a good cocktail with a surprise ingredient thrown at you, and see how I tied that all in together?
It was lovely.
Thank
well
you.
done, you.
I feel good about it.
How do you know how much to put in? I mean, again, I pour a glass of wine, and that's as complicated as I can. So, like...
the key to a great cocktail is always balance. When you get people that come into your bar and they do like, give me a heavy pour or light ice, and it's like, no, we put these cocktails together specifically for a reason. They are going to have balance. And everybody has different
can you
tastes.
switch out this for this?
Oh, God. Yeah. Can I have vodka instead of gin?
In a gin and tonic?
Right. Like, I do not want to hear that you don't like this, because you're not going to like it because it's not right.
And I'm always willing to work with the customer. At the end of the day, it's the hospitality industry. It's like, the customer's not always right, but the customer usually gets their way. This is the way I look at it.
That should be the new.
So you try to work with them, and a lot of times if somebody comes to me and like I said they want vodka instead of gin, I'll be like, well, really that would throw off the balance of this cocktail. I'm happy to make you a vodka cocktail, and again, it may not be on my menu, but I can look at the flavor profile of my gin cocktail and be like, all right, if you're liking those flavors, let me do this for you.
Which is, most people are understanding of that, and you might not think that it just changing one little ingredient, or even a secondary ingredient. Can you like do more simple syrup in that or whatever? Like, can you like hold the bitters? Little things like that even.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we can, but here's just a little short explanation. Most people are like, okay, I'll leave it the way it is. Some people just want what they want, and like you said, you give the people what they want. But bartenders, these bars around town and everywhere across the world, really, the bar staff puts a lot of work into these cocktails. So I think it's one of those things where just try it. Try it as it is.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Put your trust in us.
Put your trust in us, exactly. And if for some reason it's not your thing, then maybe we'll try something else.
It's like adding salt and pepper before you taste it. Taste how it is first. You may not need this.
I always ask my wife, like, would you put salt and pepper in this? Because I like a little salt and pepper, but I don't want to just immediately go to it.
And you shouldn't.
I shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I did read an article once of a
insulting.
boss that would take potential new hires out to eat, and if they put salt and pepper on their food before tasting it, he wouldn't hire them.
By the way, I know this is not really trendy at the moment, but remember Salt Bay? That guy with the sprinkling the salt? You guys remember him at all?
I do.
Salt Bay.
They call him Salt Bay. He's this guy with sunglasses and a t-shirt, a white t-shirt. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they would sprinkle the salt.
Like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and it would like bounce off of his forearm, and it was really disgusting.
Yeah.
But he was really popular.
On what?
On like whatever, big slabs of meat.
No, not what would he put the salt? No, what would he put the salt on? What was he popular on?
I always saw
Social
like
media?
social media, like little videos of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the socials?
He puts it on meat. I know that.
Well, it could have been mashed
I actually
potatoes.
currently have a coworker who has replicated that move many times, and I'm just like,
If I had a chef come out and do that, it was like sleeve rolled up
So
and just like
it
bounce
runs
off of
down
his.
the arm?
Yeah, this is pre-COVID, but
Yeah,
it was still
yeah.
nasty.
yeah,
gross.
I always. And I watched him just hack apart giant, beautiful steaks. Like,
Yeah.
his carving technique was awful.
I've heard from people that are good chefs that he is not one of them.
No.
So
He was just-
it's gimmicky,
Gimmicky.
I guess.
I
Something.
mean-
I don't know what made me think of that. Something sparked that.
And that's
off
the
my
funny
head.
thing and with cocktails too, is like so many bartenders will go for the gimmick over the good cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can give the same, ingredients and ask, 10 different bartenders to build you the same cocktail, and it's going to come out different every time.
Really?
Because, like I said, the good bartender, like, it's finding that balance point. It's knowing how to use the ingredients, how to manipulate the ingredients to find balance. Where it's like, you can take those same ingredients in slightly different proportions, and
Everything from like how much you dilute it.
Yeah.
Do you shake it? Do you
yeah,
stir
you
it?
shake it, you stir it.
It's more than just the amounts.
Yeah.
All these different things. What type of glass do you serve it in that will factor into the aromatics? What garnish do you use? Is it something that is just there purely for the aesthetics, or is it something that adds to the sensory experience?
One of my favorite examples is this guy Jeff Berry, Beach Bum Berry. He's a tiki guy. He owns a. He's more of an anthropologist than anything, because he went and dug through tiki history to get all of these old recipes and put them back together. He has a bar in New Orleans, and they were trying to come up with their daiquiri recipe, and it was him and his lead bartender. And a daiquiri it's rum, lime, and sugar. 3 ingredients. It took them 9 months to find the perfect daiquiri recipe that they wanted to put on their menu, because it came down to even little things as like, lime juice and simple syrup. Simple syrup is, do we use white sugar? Do we use demerara sugar? What kind of sugar do we want? Do we blend those 2 sugars?
Yeah.
Then we're adding water to make the syrup. That's dilution. Lime juice has water in it.
Yeah.
Do we consider that when we consider dilution? Do we sweeten the lime juice versus making a simple syrup? Then you have rum, white rum. Do you use 86 proof? Do you use 89 proof? Do you use 91 proof? 97 proof? 101 up to 151? How do you blend it? So, because again, that's dilution, so it's like all that matters. And then it's like when you shake it, what kind of ice do you put it on to shake it? Are you using full cube? Are you using half cube? How much, dilution versus aeration?
Ice.
It's all those different things. And so it's like you stop and think that somebody, 2 people that are absolute professionals.
Yeah.
It took them 9 months
Crazy.
to come up with the cocktail they wanted to put. A daiquiri.
Yeah.
The most simple, straightforward, almost one of the most perfect cocktails out there. But, to find that balance where they were going to be absolutely happy, it's and that's what it is. Like, anybody can throw a daiquiri together. Perfect daiquiri. Sure you could.
You could.
I don't think I've ever had one, actually, except a virgin strawberry daiquiri when I was like 7.
Yeah, we're not talking about. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but like.
Yeah, there's stuff.
Be
better.
I'm trying to make it feel
Than
so
the
To all of
frozen
our,
strawberry
to all of our
daiquiri.
daiquiri drinkers, we apologize. Go ahead.
But
Just lost a daiquiri.
We've lost Heather Graham,
No, we didn't.
daiquiri drinkers.
Because daiquiri
We lost the
drinkers
daiquiri
know what a
crowd.
daiquiri is.
'Cause it's
a true
a real daiquiri.
daiquiri
Okay.
isn't frozen.
No, it's served up in a coupe.
In a coupe.
Yes. Cocktail glass.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking
Like
car.
the old, think like Gatsby champagne glass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
those are fun now.
There's so many glasses. Like,
So many.
There are a lot of glasses.
and I
It's
mean,
true.
do people call you out if you serve it in the wrong kind of glass?
Well, I mean, there are certain cocktails where it only goes in this glass, but there are other cocktails where you can serve it in different ways.
Yeah.
There's different, like a Negroni or a Vucare or whatever. Sometimes people want to mix up the way that they serve it and make that part of their signature style on the cocktail menu.
Okay.
So there's certain things like that shake up an old fashioned, or whatever, or a Manhattan or something like that. And it's like, that's really, there's no wiggle room there,
Yeah.
but No, because I think a lot of it has to do with people don't call anybody out on it necessarily, because maybe it's a very intentional choice with the way that this is being done.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to a cocktail bar and you know that they know what they're doing and this is the real deal, and they serve a cocktail that you might not necessarily think should be up, but you see it up,
Yeah.
you got to trust that there's a reason for that, based on a lot of the stuff that he was talking about.
Okay. So what is your favorite cocktail to make?
To make?
To make, I like anything that is like booze forward, specifically working with like bourbon, whiskey, things like that, where you really, because I'm a big bourbon nerd, and anything that, you know this, all the conversations we've had, anything that's really going to be focused on the notes of that bourbon and what can we work around that to highlight that, but also, you know, kind of give it that complexity at the same time with the balance. So stuff like that, I think, are really fun. So a lot of times you take a classic cocktail and you riff on it. You maybe tilt it a little bit to make it a little bit different, or you can go completely different with it. It's to where it may be not recognizable as that anymore, but clearly that's the inspiration.
The base, right.
Yeah. What about you, man? I know you love your tiki stuff.
I do. I hate making tiki drinks. It's a pain in the ass.
What is? Tell me. I don't know what tiki drinks are.
I didn't know you hated making it.
Well, when you do it for a living for a while, after a while, you're just like, yeah, no, I'm done. You know. Honestly, I mean, I have a great love for tiki, and I love. That's the one thing that is like the hardest thing is like people don't know what tiki is, and a lot of people assume it's, you know, really sugary, sweet, juicy drinks, and that's just not the case at all.
Okay.
Like traditional tiki was very complex and booze forward. A lot of like, you know, very dry, you know, heavy cocktails. Really, honestly, like what we were talking about with Jeff Berry, like how he had to go and dig up these old recipes.
Yeah.
When tiki was very popular back in like the 50s and 60s, they kept their recipes very secret. The bartenders signed non-disclosure agreements. A lot of the fancy tiki bars, they made their drinks in back of the house, assembly line style, so that nobody knew the whole recipe except for the head bartender. And so people had a basic flavor profile. When that died off, and then they had that weird kind of second wave that came up in the 80s, people were just like, well, you know, they took tropical flavors like coconut and pineapple and made a lot of really sweet, awful drinks. And people associate, you know, frozen daiquiris with tiki. And, you know, that's tacky, not tiki. So we got to be better. So basically, yeah, this guy Jeff Berry like went and he like tracked down these like 90-year-old guys who worked at these bars back in the 40s and like was like, you know, nobody's coming after you. Please tell me what you
You're about
did.
to die anyway.
Yeah, and started bringing those back. And so when I think of a tiki drink, I think of most of the time they are going to be rum based. But I like to have, and there's usually a spiced element to them. So tiki adjacent would be, it would have, you know, it would be a spirit, a fruit flavor, and a spiced element to it.
What do you mean by spiced?
You know, allspice, cinnamon, clove. You know, a lot of syrups they use, like, you know, like falernum, which is like clove, ginger and lime, allspice dram, pimento dram. So, you know, there's.
And I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. You can judge me all you want. You hand me a drink that's in like a pineapple or a coconut half, and I'm there. I'm here for it.
You're so tacky, Bar.
I don't care. I'll be tacky. I get excited. I'm like, I get a drink out of a pineapple. You know how happy that makes me?
I'm sure.
And I'll pay extra for it too.
And you have to, yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Give me a yard glass. It is on.
There it is, right? Yeah.
It would be annoying to dig out all those pineapples, I would think.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a lot of prep work.
It is. That's probably why they charge so much for it.
Yeah, that's probably it.
That's why I just never bothered doing it. It's just like, no.
Some kids back there.
I won't support that.
Some kid.
They bring the 10.
That's the bar back that's trying to learn.
Yeah.
Trying to learn how to do it. It's like, enough of the questions. Go hollow out these.
Go hollow your pineapple.
Pineapples.
Yeah.
So you guys decided to start something.
Yes.
You wanted to join forces.
Yes.
start up a dance studio.
With our
Correct.
with our powers combined.
Yeah.
So Captain Planet.
Yes.
I do have to tell you.
Not dancing though.
No, you mentioned cloves. I always think of this story. My husband's going to kill me for saying this, but my husband does not cook. He can. He doesn't. There's a difference. He can cook. He has the ability. He just doesn't do it very often. So when his sister was pregnant,
Christina's listening. She's like, yes, yes.
yeah. When his
That's my
sister was
wife.
pregnant
She knows.
with her first child, he decided to make a meal for them and take it over. And he read the recipe and he went to buy the ingredients. It said like 2 cloves garlic. He got garlic, but he also got cloves and put cloves in the lasagna. Let's just say it's a good thing I don't eat red meat because I didn't have to try it.
Oh.
But yeah, she took a bite. She's like, Doug, this is really bad.
That's right.
Yeah, so don't put cloves as cloves of garlic. They're very, very different things.
Yeah.
Apparently.
For those of you listening, don't put cloves.
Don't put cloves in
in
your
your
lasagna.
lasagna.
Save those for your
It's like
tiki
the more you
drinks.
know.
I was married for 6 years. I was with my ex-wife for 8 years total, a little more.
Yeah.
In that time, she cooked me 6 meals. And
Were they good?
she actually
spilled some serious tea today.
She got her
He's come.
no, her meatloaf
Guns
recipe got down.
a-blazing.
But the one that truly reminds, like the same thing is just like she made this chicken dish where she decided that she was going to coat the chicken in ranch dressing powder. And like she saw a recipe online, but
White Castle
it was
did
like
that
a
one time.
picture.
I'm serious.
I think it was like a Pinterest thing, but there was no real recipe to it. So she's like,
she
I can do
just-
that. And God love her. She put a lot of hard work, and she was so proud of it. And then we like sat down, and it was just like, oh, it was in it. I mean, it was
Well-
Just
so rough.
straight
Just
salt,
straight
right?
salt.
I just want
Yeah.
to say that my wife is an amazing cook.
Great.
I just want to say that my ex-wife,
You got some brown stuff here. Christina, can you make sure he wipes that off?
my ex-wife is an amazing person. I love her to death. And she was great at so many things. But
Yeah.
cooking,
Cooking, just
not
not.
one of them. And she knows it, and she'll own it. So
Well, it's not for everybody.
no.
No,
It's just,
She would always look at me. It's like, well, you can do it better, so just do it. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll do it. So,
it's like fair enough. Play to my ego.
yeah, exactly. And she did very well. So
I really enjoy cooking. There's just not a lot of time. You're the cook too at home, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of people that like cooking, kind of like crossover with bartending.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big cook. I can cook. I can do some stuff, but I like going out to eat or getting takeout and
Yeah.
something different every night. I enjoy it.
I'm the same.
You know.
I'm really bad with leftovers.
yeah.
Like I just had this. I don't really want it again.
I have a
Yeah.
hard time cooking for 1 or 2 people. I'm used to cooking for the masses. So, like, if we're having a
That's okay,
holiday, I'm
You're
good to
good.
go. But when it's just like me, I'm just like, oh, well, I just made enough for 3 weeks. And then,
Yeah. I'm not gonna eat it. Yeah.
Hope I don't get tired of corned beef hash.
Right?
Well,
Tired of
there's
corned beef hash.
I don't know. Say
I-
3 weeks straight.
Right? Yeah.
Anything for 3 weeks straight by that third
yeah.
week.
There's some stuff that just doesn't translate into a leftover.
It's true.
I just can't. Lettuce. No. Lettuce has to be consumed right there where it's
I
done.
just skip the lettuce. If it's shredded, it's annoying.
Oh, it's awful.
You
I'd
just
say broccoli
it's
the next day
so
is not great either. Depends on how it's prepared.
Depending
That's
on how
true.
it's prepared.
yeah.
If it's in a stir fry, it's
Leftover.
fine. When it's
Hey
semi-crisp.
kids, would you like some leftover broccoli?
Well,
It's like, right.
asparagus too. Not so good the next day.
No, not great.
But asparagus for me is something that it's been maybe, I think we talked about this before. I think I've only enjoyed it for about 6 or 7 years. Because when I was growing up, we used to have canned asparagus.
Oh. You know.
No. No. No.
So was it just short little stalks, or was the long
They
ones
were-
that kind of curled up inside the
No,
can?
they were about that long, and they just were like limp.
Yeah.
Just,
Growing up, asparagus was only steamed or boiled, and it's like it's just wet grass.
yeah.
It wasn't until my mom was watching Food Network one day,
Yeah.
and they put asparagus on the grill, and it was like, oh yeah, that does make all the difference.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if you roast it, it's beautiful.
It's delicious. Same thing with Brussels sprouts too.
Same, yeah.
Love me some Brussels
Let's just
sprouts.
name vegetables. This is Just keep talking vegetables that are
Speaking
gross
of Brussels sprouts, we have a new
Seriously,
Brussels
we
sprout
can go down
dish
this list. I mean, like
at Rye River Social right now.
cauliflower.
So,
Shut up, he's talking.
plug that.
Sorry.
Plug that. We just put out a new Brussels sprout dish at Rye River Social. You should come check that out.
What's on it? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
Basically, what they do is they roasted them. They're kind of like crispy around the edges.
Yeah.
No, we want people. He wants people to come in and get it, but I can't tell you what it is.
No, that's it. That's it. Everything else is top
Secret
secret.
Brussels.
Top
Trust me.
secret, Yeah.
Just trust me.
But no, and they put some like chili honey on it to finish it. It's really quite nice.
Sounds good.
It's amazing.
So yeah.
I think that's the one vegetable, like, it's really best if you just cover it with a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah,
put
mask
really-
it.
Yeah.
So you put cheese on broccoli and cauliflower.
yeah.
No cheese on it. Then I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I like it. I'll eat it.
The cauliflower, we're still doing keto, both of us are, and the cauliflower overload gets too
I
much.
can do like one night and then I gotta take a couple nights off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like cauliflower, a little bit of it goes
I
on.
don't know. You roast up cauliflower, like a little salt, pepper, some rosemary.
Yeah, but
I'm
everybody,
heaven.
but they're making it and everything. They do like cauliflower rice and cauliflower
know,
pizza
yeah.
crust. And like,
Yeah.
I don't, can I say shit? I don't want that shit.
You just did.
Cauliflower
So.
pizza crust is long.
I don't want that.
Depending on where it's
I've
from.
never
though.
had
It's not good. I've never
You
had.
haven't gotten the right kind.
Okay, fair enough.
Either Massey's or Donato's.
Yeah.
I promise you, you will change your taste.
All right.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Donato's especially, I will take Donato's cauliflower crust over regular crust any day.
Every time
Yeah.
I've ever had it, and I haven't had it from those places, it is just, it's like cardboard. It's disgusting. It's
I'm
very.
gonna go from here to Donato's. That's gonna be my lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll report back.
Okay.
I recommend Massey's. I think Massey's is better.
Uh
Massey's is better, yeah. I think if you get like a straight pepperoni, it's gonna give you the full pizza taste.
oh. Okay.
So basically, if you mask it with pepperoni,
Yep.
it tastes good.
No. I mean, I'd say it tastes good on its own. You'll give it a shot. Check out Massey's. Massey's is
Well, and I think because how they prepare it, because I think Massey's has to they bake it first so that it's actually got
Is
a
Massey's
texture.
a sponsor? Because they should be. They're getting a lot of
Massey's.
love right now.
Try Massey's.
Massey's not a sponsor, but you could be.
Yeah,
We should. I mean, they're local, aren't they?
they are.
We should have Massey's on here.
Yeah.
Massey's. Come on, show.
And we'll do what we can do.
Bring the cauliflower.
Let's
Ooh,
do a
a
Massey's
cocktail.
pizza pop up.
There we go.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
should.
Build relationships.
Massey's.
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 Send
Massey's.
an invoice later today. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, we had one in Gahanna growing up, and that was like
Yeah.
gourmet pizza.
That was
That was
like
a place
the
to
We
go.
asked Massey's to donate some pizzas for our pop-up
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the kids.
It's for the kids.
For the kids.
For the kids.
Massey's for the kids. Yeah.
Okay, so back to what you guys are doing together.
Yeah.
Where did St. Russell come from?
That's my dad. Yeah. So my dad is always a huge supporter of me and all my crazy endeavors over the years, whether it was just, in sports when I was a kid, when I wanted to move back east to try to make it in radio. And my mom and my dad both, they're the best. My dad was my best friend. And he had a very courageous battle with prostate cancer. He passed this year, back in March, right before everything shut down with COVID. So, it was always, I always wanted to figure out a way that I could honor him. And, I knew someday maybe I'd want to try to open my own bar or restaurant. And I wanted to call it, named after my dad. And I decided on St. Russell's because, he's just the best. I thought that was a cool name. I thought it sounded good.
Yeah.
And me and Nate have been talking about, maybe trying to get together and working on an actual physical location at some point. But he says to me, because we were talking about just getting together and doing these events, he goes, "Hey man, we should just name this after your dad too. We should call this St. Russell Productions." And I was like, it didn't even occur to me. I thought that was so cool that not only that we get to do that, but how supportive Nate is about that, and the fact that he wanted to do that and he knew how important it was to me. So it really kind of stemmed from that.
Yeah, I figure it's like if this does, down the road lead to, a brick and mortar location for us, it's like, I want people to be familiar with that name. It's like, let's get that name out there right now and be like, oh yeah, those are those guys that we went to that competition. That was awesome. Or they had that cool pop-up. So,
And it makes
check that out,
perfect sense,
It just-
Yeah.
And for me, it's cool every time I hear somebody say something about St. Russell's. I'm like, man, it puts a smile on my face. It gets me right here. And because some people know, some don't.
Yeah.
but for me, I know, and I think it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way to keep everybody that knew my dad, that his memory will live on forever. But it's a cool way for me to honor his legacy and carry on that legacy, I think.
What's the goal? Like, the dream for it?
The dream for it is I mean, with this, we're doing cocktail classes, individual, private, corporate. We're doing weddings. We're doing cocktail competitions, obviously. We're doing cocktail pop-up events. So the goal is to do these throughout the year. And right now we want to try to safely and responsibly give people a way that they can come out to these events, have a great time, but with the proper social distancing and the precautionary measures in place to ensure that everybody's going to be safe, but just to get out of the house and do something. Because I don't know about you guys, but like if you can only do so many meetings and on Zoom, and the last time I was on your show was Zoom, and that was a blast. But that was after that, probably a couple months later, I got serious Zoom fatigue because everything's via Zoom.
Yeah.
And I think it is a testament to the fact that people are ready for these things, the fact that it sold out so quickly. But those are the goals. We want to just really kind of continue to add, our experience and our knowledge to, the community here, whether it be through these events that industry people like to go to, or like I did a cocktail class last weekend. It was awesome. So people that want to learn more about what we do and how to make proper drinks and whatever the theme may be, and then brick and mortar. Brick and mortar location. Eventually, we want to have we want to work for ourselves and put that into place. That's the dream.
Right.
That's the dream. But when that happens, this will still be. I foresee this still being a part of it. We want it would be a branch of what we do.
Right.
Yeah. That cover it all.
It covers it all.
Yeah.
Where did the logo come from?
Well, so my dad's so it's the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
My dad's from New York. Grew up in Brooklyn, and then later New Jersey.
Did he have an accent?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. We moved out here to Ohio when I was a kid, and my dad never lost his accent.
Really?
And when he got excited, it would come out even more. Oh, what you doing? Oh, get together with his brothers or his friends from back east. Like whether it be Long Island or Brooklyn or New Jersey or Massachusetts, family all through all those areas. He always had the accent. I remember I was talking to my mom. Now, Nate didn't get a chance to know my dad well, but you met my father. Yeah. And you got a kick out of him, if I do say so myself. I remember one time, Nate and a buddy of ours they came to the Cocktails Fair Calls event that we did last year. And you guys wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
And I remember they were sitting on the opposite side of the bar. And they're like, "Is that your dad over there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think you're talking about him. He's over there." And they're like, "Yeah, he just did one of these." And I was like, "Yep, that's him." And he started laughing.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
I mean, that was fun. And then we're doing the Cocktails for Calls again this year to raise money. It's the second annual. I'm super excited that it's happening again. We're doing it at the Buckeye Bourbon House on November 28th, raising money for the Prostate Cancer Foundation.
Yeah.
So doing drink specials. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. Like, for more information on that, which we're going to be doing an online auction, just go to strussellproductions.com and stay up to date on that. That's really the best way to do it.
So awesome. You've been and Nate, I don't know as much about you, but it sounds like you guys have been just getting more and more creative during this time. I mean,
I've had a very productive quarantine, and COVID period. It's one of those things where, I feel like since I've been in Ohio, I spent the first several years feeling very stagnant. I missed, living in the city. I moved here from Boston.
Yeah.
And, I was just kind of adjusting to life here. And then the last couple of years, my life's kind of been in upheaval. I've had a lot of big changes going on. It was until I had some time, like, this is the longest period I've had without working in a really long time. And I was just sitting there like, it's time to, make some things happen. So, the creativity starts, flowing, and you get all these ideas. And then as soon as you're allowed to leave the house, it's like, let's go get these moving. And, I think Jesse was the same way. And he was still waiting after I went back to work. He was still waiting for his bar to reopen. And
which it never did.
Yeah.
I had to go to elsewhere.
So I think, we have like this, ability to work together, and we kind of think very similarly, and we usually tend to be on the same page. Like we'll come up, one of us will have an idea, and the other guy will be like, I was, kind of thinking the same thing. And
that's happened a lot.
Yeah.
And then, but also, I feel like our personalities complement each other as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there has been very little disagreement on any of our ideas, and it's been more of like, well, how about we do this? I'm like, oh, that's good. You know what I mean? That kind of like that makes it better. You know, little things like that. Like we were just like talking the other day about whenever we do, have a, we're just dreaming, about like when we do have our own spot or whatever, like signage. And I was like, that's better than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He had a really cool idea for that. So, little things like that, and then sometimes they're big things,
But, and yeah, it's like, and also just now's the time, it's like we have this opportunity. People, seem to be paying attention, and it's just like, if we have, this little bit of time to make an impact, let's do it. And it's just been, the response has been great. I was talking to Jesse the other day. It's like I've always kind of flown under the radar. I've never been one for like spotlight or anything like that. I just want to make good drinks and put together good menus and that. And like I've made a lot of good friends through it. Yeah. And now I have people like coming into my bar and be like, oh, I remember you from your last place, or oh, I read this article about you. And I'm just like, wait, what? It really throws me off. But hearing all of that and feeling that, it's just like, and we're just getting so much love. It's like, let's just run with this, and take it as far as we can go.
Absolutely. And I told him, I was like, I don't think that you're giving yourself the proper credit, because people, and you're seeing this now, but people, at least in the industry, and the people that are familiar with the industry absolutely know Nate's name and who he is. And if you don't, you probably soon will. Yeah. Or you should, because he's one of the best at what he does.
I love it. I find it fascinating. Basically, what you do and kind of what I do is similar. I mean, there's a theatrical aspect to what y'all have to do. Because I think about it when, and I don't sit at many bars when I would visit yours. It's like, but it's like a show happening. Yeah, it's crazy.
Can be, yeah.
I mean, not like opening a bud and setting it down, but when there's actual.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh, you did that so well. But no, there's a theatricality about how things are placed and moved and maneuvered.
It's the flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the vibe. And,
I think it would stress me out beyond belief.
You see the bartenders like bumping into each other, or they just like move in perfect harmony. That's always that's something I like. Like I don't care so much about, and I know that's not what you're talking about, but you go to like certain bars and like the flair. That doesn't really. I don't. That's impressive, but like it's not really my thing. But when I see them just like moving and not even, you don't even have to say a word. You're just like working perfectly in that small space. That is just impressive to me. And then
knowing where everything is.
That's you just muscle memory, and that's why it's important to all you new bartenders that are trying to make it up, come up in the game.
New bartender.
Reset the cocktail station and put things back where they go.
Well, I just launched a new menu this week at Rye River, and it's almost hilarious how like even the most seasoned bartenders, when it's like we just changed up your whole rack because we have a whole new menu to work with, and they're just staring at it like it's their first time behind the bar.
It's like I forgot how to do this.
It's like I don't know what I'm doing.
Where is it?
And it's just like until that muscle memory comes, gets into things like let's try and get this arranged. But they go to they just have to stop. Like they would have just deer in headlights. And like you've been doing this for 10 years. Come on. Make the drink.
Yeah.
No idea.
So when you say you create a new menu, what does that mean? Like
basically I made the first menu that we had it open back in March. We opened 2 days before we got shut down. So when we came back, I basically rolled that it was like a spring summer menu right on through. Yeah. And now that we're switching into the fall flavors, I basically was like, I'm tired of making these drinks. Let's scrap that and start over. Yeah. Okay. So we did a 100% turnover where we started over. And I have some new bartenders that are some really, really talented people that I brought on, and I wanted their input.
Yeah, a good crew there.
Yeah, we're coming together. So I was just like, the first menu I did basically 100%. This menu, I'm, maybe like half the drinks are mine, and then I've got, some other people that did some great contributions. And I wanted that. I want my staff to be creative. I want them to, put their stamp on the menu. Right. Because, if you have something on the menu, you're going to be proud of it. You're going to sell it,
Right.
And so I wanted everybody represented. So they put in a ton of work, and we have this great, new menu with lots of fall flavors, winter flavors. and yeah, we're going to carry that one through probably through the holidays, and then we'll start to, we're not going to do another hard changeover, but we'll start to swap out things as we get past the holidays.
That's often, some bars will change once a year, some will change, with the seasons.
Do you find that most people use the menu, or that they order their own? Like, I typically, if I get a cocktail, I'm usually not picking something from the cocktail menu.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of our cocktails are from the menu. Like, people will come in and look at the menu and pick something from there.
I think it depends on the bar, too.
It does depend on the bar.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, too, is that we're still relatively new, so people are just looking over the menus completely.
Yeah.
We do get plenty of people that just come up to the bar and order, some kind of a call. They'll be like, gin and tonic or whatever.
Yeah.
Vodka soda. But we appreciate it when they take the time to look at the cocktail menu. Like, we worked really hard, and it's like, it's been really satisfying to see so many people. I've had a lot of people come and be like, I'm not usually a cocktail person, but this is delicious. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. That's what we're going for. Yeah. People who normally drink wine will be like, oh, but I got this instead, and it was so pretty. Or that's the thing is they'll see it. They'll see somebody like walk by, like one of the servers, and they'll have a tray full of drinks and be like, oh, what's that? And they try it. And that's really,
So what cocktails do you recommend to a pretty much straight red wine drinker?
Pretty much straight red wine drinker, honestly.
I don't love bourbon and whiskey. I don't dislike it. I just don't love it.
I mean, that would be the avenue that I would probably go, to tell you the truth, would be like the bourbon and whiskey. And I guarantee
you want something that's not too
like.
sweet and with a dry finish.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like a Boulevardier.
Where my head went was Boulevardier.
It's a bourbon. It's a Negroni. So it's swap out the gin for a bourbon.
Okay.
Or a whiskey.
Okay.
And it's that sweet remove from Campari. So you get a little sweet.
I feel like
you
made that.
I probably have.
Yeah.
Made that for you.
With that in mind.
Did you love it? Just say yes.
Yes, I loved it.
I don't remember. Softballs.
What is he talking about? Okay, well, here's the deal, though, too, is that I may not remember because we had cocktails, okay? So give me a little credit there.
It's too late.
I think it was on my birthday.
No, I think I made a lot of different cocktails for you.
Yeah.
And it's usually like surprise me with something. So it's a mix of some of the classics with some originals in mind. But that's really, if somebody says
make her a New York sour,
Yeah.
Put the red wine right on top of that.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a whiskey sour with a red wine float.
Red wine float.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Or you could play with something like, cassis, like a good French cassis, because then you're getting your berries again. It's a French grape varietal.
I feel like I've had that with champagne. What is that called?
They'll definitely do. A lot of like fortified wines and vermouths and things like that. Cocktails that will include those.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What did you ask?
I feel like I made a drink with. Is it syrup? The cassis?
It's a liqueur.
It's a liqueur with champagne. He was just like.
I don't know what that's called. I'm sure it's good.
It was pretty.
Some variation of a champagne cocktail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do like champagne.
Yeah.
That's less like a cocktail. I don't know.
I love. I have a much love for champagne and sparkling wines, or and champagne cocktails. Like a French 75 is one of my go-tos. One of my absolute favorite drinks is just a really dry Tom Collins. Just gin, lemon, soda, tiniest bit of sugar in it, but yeah.
Huh. What is that named after somebody?
Tom Collins.
Tom Collins.
No, I gathered that. Thank you. Ben, make them stop.
The other nice thing about Tom Collins is you can walk into pretty much any bar and walk the bartender through, how to make it. I've asked for them in the past. They're like, oh, we don't have any Collins mix. I'm like, it's okay. We're going to get through this together.
Yeah, we don't have any Collins
Just hold
mix.
my hand. We'll do this.
Yeah.
It's like that's good because
I don't want Collins
mix.
Ew.
Really? It's interesting. I guess some bars do like the margarita mix.
Oh gosh.
It all depends on what kind of bar you go to.
I just know a lot of people don't know what a Tom Collins is outside of that bottle of Tom
that's
Collins
all
mix they saw at their grandparents' house or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it's like usually you can find a bottle of Beefeater on the back bar somewhere and just be like, all right, we can work with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to try a real one because I always think of those drinks like from the bottle. Like,
Yeah.
I will say that is cool though. To look at it from this angle, that if you can go in somewhere and the bartender doesn't know, that they don't have any ego about it, they're like happy to make you what you want. Because sometimes you go in and they would clearly not know what you're asking for, but like, would not be willing to hear it. You know what I mean? We've all encountered that. We've all encountered it.
Is it awkward? Have you had somebody come in and be like, let me walk you through what I'd like it to be?
I mean, I had somebody. You get people that come in and they had a drink that on vacation at this one time at this one place that has this name that you've never heard of, and it's just some sort of a beachy drink or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you don't know what that is? Like, well, no, because that was at like, the Joe's Crab Shack down in Orlando that you went to. I have no idea. I can make it for you, but just tell me what's in it.
Yeah.
Like I say it nicer than that, but
I would hope so. Yeah. Not to me, you wouldn't. But
get out.
Yeah, the number of people that came into the tiki bar and they're just like, I'm a Mai Tai expert. It's like, because you went on a cruise once?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. How was that vacay in Cabo?
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, pineapple juice and grenadine. No.
But well, just tell me what's in it. And if you know what's in it, I'll happily make it. But it's impossible to know every drink at every bar. There's the classics and there's the extended circle of those. And I mean, I'd say I don't even know how many drinks I know how to make off the top of my head, but it's a fair amount.
Yeah.
But nobody knows everything.
You ever have to look something up? Like,
Yeah.
and that's not weird.
No, I mean it's impossible to know everything.
Right.
Like
I'd
as
rather
far
look
as
it up than
these
get it
recipes,
wrong.
like nobody, somebody might, but like to know every single thing is. I mean, and you kind of forget sometimes, like like some of the old school like fad cocktails that from the 70s or 60s or 70s or whatever. I don't know. And then you haven't made them in a long time, and somebody orders it. I'm like, what was in that again? You just don't make them all the time.
I forget my own cocktails if I don't make them often enough. It's just like I gotta
go
back to the notebook and be like, oh, remember that one we made like 3 years ago?
I'm literally
it's like I literally invented it and I have no idea what's in it.
Well, you make so many, I would think it just runs together after.
Well, I'm doing a perfect example of that is I'm doing a cocktail competition. I'm in the competition this upcoming Monday. It's the Woodford Manhattan Experience. I do not remember what the cocktails are that I entered. So I have to go find what they are so I can make them for the judges on Monday. I know they were good.
They were brilliant. Wow.
Yeah. I think fig was involved.
Fig?
I think so.
Fig is great. I actually
love figs.
My new Manhattan on our menu we date infused the vermouth. So we infused the vermouth with dates. I think that's really nice. And then we serve it with a candied date instead of a cherry. So it's been incredibly popular. Because
See, guys, this is the kind of stuff that we can teach you for a private cocktail class.
So people can reach out and have you.
No, please do.
Tell us how we're gonna close up because we're gonna now go to a bar and you're gonna make me all these drinks, right?
that works.
You're acting like you don't have a whole bar just right over there out of the camera.
If I had a whole bar right over there, I would not be able to sit in this chair right now. Thanks, COVID. Thanks for getting us all drunk. Tell us how you can be found.
StRussellProductions.com. We're posting all the information about upcoming events. And you can just reach out to us, give us a call, email us. We're on Instagram at St. Russell Productions.
.com.
Well, not on the Instagram. Just go to Instagram.com.
Yeah.
St. Russell
.com.
Productions. Yeah. Or
And the word saint is spelled out. It's not
spelled out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
spelled out.
Very cool.
Or you can find us on there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm proud of you kids.
Yeah, thanks.
You're
We
doing great.
love being here with you, talking. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, good times.
Good times.
Good
Good
times.
times, for sure. Good times.
Well, thank you, and
Yeah.
I mean, we'll look forward to seeing you do your thing. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah. So we're super excited about it.
It'll be great.
We'll keep you posted.
Kids are so cool.
Oh.
So cool. Well, thank
Shucks.
you for listening to Speak Easily. I'm still Krista Stopper.
Boxland Media. Think big.